Cyberpunk's latest update 2.0 just came out recently, and the game, even though it still has its few crazy bugs that are, not ideal entirely, like this car climbing on top of my car as soon as I started playing 2.0. It's an interesting first impression. Now, well, albeit it's not entirely perfect and everything is hunky-dory and fixed, a lot of the major issues I think that I personally had with the base game, like the police and just the world feeling dead and robotic and not alive, seems to have mainly been addressed. And I think those big issues being solved here makes the game play a lot better. I, as most people, probably wish that the game released in this state rather than the state that it did release in, because it was kind of unimmersive. But now it does have a lot of potential, and with the DLC arriving 2 days from now, which looks like it's going to have a pretty interesting story included with it. But back to this update that you can play right now if you already own the game, you can actually do vehicle combat. Mostly with the police vehicles, they all come equipped with some kind of weapon of sorts. Like this one here is an automatically aiming rifle, so like it kind of auto-aims whoever's in that box in the middle there. But you should know that you can turn this so that you can aim manually. It's probably just going to be a lot harder unless your aim is like Shroud level or something. I will admit, I got very confused with this new update. I haven't played Cyberpunk since, like, the release time, but I was here using my Mantis Blades, and I could not, for the life of me, attack. Like, left click, right click, charge attack. All of this did nothing. I still don't actually know how to fix this. And upon looking into this, I realized that all of my stats have been removed because they've completely done the entire stat screen in a completely different way. So they've refunded all your points. I've got like 58 perk points, and then they also give you the option of resetting your attribute points if you need to unlock the different levels. So the skill tree is very different from what I remember, but also it was so long ago I don't really remember what was going on. But if you are just getting back into it and you're wondering why you're able to die so easily, it's probably because all of your points are no longer used. So you theoretically have no perks enabled. So make sure you go right there and go fix everything and select all the new stuff and see what kind of build you want to play. I think the first thing I noticed when I was running through the streets here is that the NPCs are a lot more alive. There's a lot more of them. There's, it definitely feels, the world feels more alive and reactive. If I started shooting, everybody would get crazy and start running and do some crazy shit. And that's what you would expect, right? I feel like they finally nailed the open world aliveness and the reactiveness of the police, not just like spawning behind you, because it used to be a huge joke when the police would just spawn in. They would just teleport into your existence around you, and you'd be like, okay, that's so not realistic, and it was very, it didn't work. It just didn't work. But now you can you find cops, you can find them quite regularly, which I believe you could do in the main game as well. Go ahead and shoot them, do some crazy stuff, and then a new cop will walk up, and you can go through like the stars. You can see here next to my map, we're on like 3 stars, basically like that GTA effect where, the more cops and bad things you do, the more worse or your higher level cops come after you, and you can just do some crazy stuff. I don't know what knocked me down there. But I'm down here, and with all my perks now, I don't die as easily. I also have that nice sand division. I forgot that word. That gives me that slow-mo. You also have insane dashes, especially at this level, like in-game. I can just dash, and leave the area entirely, but the enemies will still follow you down with a car. If you do end up trying this update just to see how the game has changed from when you first played, I highly recommend doing this, causing havoc with the cops and grabbing one of these vehicles over here. They're pretty cool. You have the option of shooting these missile kind of weapons out the front of the car like this, which is pretty damn awesome. This feels a lot more fun than I remember it being. There was no police car chases and stuff in the release version of the game. So having this now feels amazing. It feels so cool. You can literally just go and cause havoc. You even have the options of a targeted missile strike, but it's a little harder to use when something is moving. So I accidentally killed whoever that was in that car. I'm sorry, your person's family. There's also a ton of new perks that affect this vehicle combat, like things like increasing the strength of your vehicle, the damage you do when you crash other vehicles, all this kind of crazy stuff, which is pretty cool. So they kind of really buffed and made vehicle combat a thing, which I think works really well and is super fun to get into. You can see here, you even get the slow motion stuff here while driving, which is pretty cool as well. It works the same way as you would when you're on person. Like in this case over here, I drove down an alleyway and I kind of got stuck. So I just well, okay, cool. I'm just going to yeet it and delete it. And I'm just going to leave the area and I'm just going to jump, spam jump and dash. And I'm just going to leave the entire area. Doesn't matter about these enemies. They can't shoot me if they can't catch me, right? They're just just go like this. This game was quite crazy, and I don't know, dude. I feel like they made it a lot more fun. I'm probably not gonna play the entire game again, but if for some reason you haven't played Cyberpunk before, you're probably gonna get the best version of it without having like the bad memories of what it used to be and not wanting to, like, you know, play the story again. Even though they did add a new ending, in case you did want to play the whole game again, there is a new ending. I believe I heard correctly. But I personally will probably be giving the DLC a shot and seeing how and where that goes with the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the game, if you've tried it out, and all the new things you can do. And thank you guys so much for watching.